Well, apparently, ding dong, the witch is dead. Alina, the 90-day racist, apparently is going to be edited out of the show. Let's talk about it. And we'll also talk about racism in Russia. Hey, everybody. What is up? It is me, the infamous Kiki, live from the bed. While I'm in the bed, I have back issues, so I can't really sit in the chair, so I'm in the bed. Who am I? I'm the infamous Kiki, entrepreneur, artist, writer, clothes designer, gift of gabber. I've been on many different people's podcasts. I've been on Wall Street Journal, blogs, blah, blah, blah. I finally said that. That's who I am. I did a video previous before about Alina, 90 Day Fiance, which is a show, by the way, I don't watch. I do Love During Lockup. I watch that show and I do breakdowns. You can check out my other videos. At the end of this video, you'll see little things pop up. Watch my other recap of the couples from Love During Lockup. 90 Day Fiance, I watch a lot of clips. The only reason I even did the video about Alina is by the way, for those of you who are not familiar, Alina is from Russia. She's on the show 90 Day Fiance. The show 90 Day Fiance is a reality show where people from another country are dating or seeing or wanting to date and see or talking to somebody from another country, and then they go fly to meet up with them and see, and then the reality show follows, what happens with the couples or whatever. It's a very popular show with a cast of interesting characters and people on there. Lena was one of them. There's a bunch of a bunch of posts and stuff that she did on social media that has come to the light. You can watch another video. It'll give you more details and links and where you can click on and look at the pictures and posts that she did. Somebody came in my comment section of that video and commented, I guess, and tried to, I don't know whether it sounded like Alina herself or somebody from Russia by the way the comment was messaged. But I'm here to do an update. The update is that Alina from 90 Day Fiance is actually going to be fired from the show. Apparently their editors are furiously editing her parts out due to the social media posts and the fan backlash, and the fans been asking to have her removed from the show. There are other people that was removed from the show. There's some chick named Baby Girl Lisa. Apparently she was married to Usman, who's an African guy. I know Usman. I know about his story, aka Soldier Boy. Apparently she called him an N-word too. She got let go. And then there was Michael and the loudmouth, blonde-headed 60-year-old. I forgot her name again. I don't watch the show. And apparently she called him an N-word. And she got tossed off the show. I know that there's another person named Big Ed that apparently has some domestic violence issues, harassment issues that he had with women. And then people sound like a petition, 100,000 followers. And he didn't get tossed from the show, but again, Big Ed's presence was bigger than Baby Girl Lisa or the loudmouth blonde chick, and definitely bigger than Alina. This is her first season on the show, so I could see why they didn't toss him. And then he didn't say anything racist, and I have to say that racism is the non sequitur and all this. Like, you can get away with certain things, but when you're talking about racism, you talk about demographics of people who watch the show. A lot of black people love these reality shows. So yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for you to kind of get over that racism thing, because you're hurting their sponsors and their viewers, and yeah, people are going to come for you with pitchforks on that. So anyway, like I was saying, somebody tried to put something in the comments to try to explain to me. I'm like, girl, bye. First of all, I'm here to explain to people that I'm not a dumb American. I actually come with receipts. I do my homework. I'll leave links in the comment section so you can see some of the things that I've looked at, some of the groups that I've been to, some of the documentaries I've watched. In the past, I've watched documentaries about expats from the United States living in Russia. There's a whole documentary. I'll leave the links. There's this Russian study about Russian racism, which is very fascinating. It's like a PDF. You can download it. It's a study from a Russian university where they use surveys and data to ask people how they felt about certain groups of people. So there's all kinds of links and things I'll leave where I got my information from. And also there's Afro-Russian groups on WhatsApp, on Facebook. Uh, there's a lot of people that are in Russia from Africa, and many different countries, but I'm just talking about just the black experience. There are many Russians, there are many people who are going to school. There are many people who have had been to school in exchange programs in Russia. Actually, during the Cold War in the former Soviet Union, they actually had colleges and schools, and they invited exchange students to come to Russia to study there. I guess it had something to do with communism and them trying to thwart democracy. So they were trying to help out Africa. So that's a whole thing. It's a thing that I didn't really know about until I was researching. I found that very interesting. Russia has 11.6 million immigrants in their country. They are number three on the list of countries that have the most immigrants. They're number three. So believe it or not, yes, Russia has immigrants. The kind of immigrants that are there, you have Africans, you have Central Asians are the most populous ones. You have immigrants from Iran, immigrants from UK, United States, little less, and then the most, but a pretty much like 5 or 6 different countries that go to Russia the most. Um, a lot of the prejudice I read about is what we call ethnic gypsies. It's just like, I hate to even say the word because in some circles that's a slur. But yes, gypsies, otherwise known as, I was like, what's a gypsy? And then they're ethnic Chechens, and then I know about the Chechen wars and the skirmishes that they fought with Russia, and the Chechen people are, I would say, a lot of them are Muslim. A lot of them are a diverse group of like Arabs, ethnically Arab. I may be getting it wrong, but I fell down a rabbit hole of the whole Chechen thing. But there's a lot of prejudice that I found against Chechens. Like I was kind of taken aback. I was like, whoa, yeah, shocked. But it does exist. And so the person that wrote the comment, I guess didn't think I did my research. I'm dumb. Trying to say that the word they use a word for black, which is kind of like, the Spanish has a word called negro, which is black, is the color. But the word that they reference, I forgot. It starts with an N. The word black in Russia, yes, there's the color black, but in Russia, when from what I've read and what I've gleaned, I may be wrong, y'all can correct me, but from what I read, when you call somebody black, there's a Russian word for it. It starts with a CH, Chechanya. I can't pronounce it, but it means black. It's a derogatory word. It's not saying, oh, look at that black person over there. Is basically like calling somebody the N word. Like no, they don't have the word N word, but to call somebody black is from the circles I run in, it's not a good thing. If somebody's like, hey, I got some blacks over here, it usually donates to they have some dark skinned people, Africans, but it's not good. It's used as a derogatory term. They talked about the history of it, the people in the Caucasus Mountains, which is ironic that the people in the Caucasus Mountains, the Caucasians, because the term Caucasian is, the whole concept of Caucasian being white people is a made up stupid thing. Y'all need to go research how white people became known as Caucasians, because in Russia, the people from the Caucasus Mountains they were normally darker skinned people, Georgians or whatever. I think that's the original word. The people Caucasus were Georgians. They were traditionally brown skinned people, so they would call them black. So, and it was not called, like I said, in a nice way. So yeah, I found that hilarious. But anyway, back on topic. But yes, there's not the institutional racism that America has, but there's low key prejudice. There's prejudice, and then what I've been told is that a lot of people in Russia don't like to talk about it. Like it's something that's not talked about. A lot of the people who have migrated over to Russia or went to school there, they give many stories about people calling them child. People saying things about their hair. I know people that are ethnically, racially mixed. Like one parent is Russian, the other parent is African or something else. And people have said things, like your parents made a mistake. And in Russia, because it's traditionally mostly Slavic people, which is another word for white people. From what I learned, there's a sense of just like with any immigrant population, of hating the other. And this is not something that's just Russian or just American. It's been going on since the dawn of time, because it's humanity. Because humans are awful creatures who seek to divide instead of unite. People are afraid people are going to take their jobs. People are telling that these brown people, these people who are immigrants, that they're not really Russian. The same shit that you get here in America when it comes to any kind of immigrants. They want to make like, even if you're born and raised there and speak the language, if you are not the majority, and the majority there is Slavic people, then people want to make out like if you're not really Russian. You may speak the language, you may have one Russian parent, you may be a third generation Russian, Afro-Russian, which there were Americans that actually moved to Russia in the 30s and 40s. There's a whole documentary about them escaping segregation and racism and then moving to communist countries such as Russia and Cuba. But they will try to other you and try to shame you. You may have a Russian last name. It doesn't matter. Anytime somebody wants to other you, they will. In any society, it doesn't matter. What, like even in Africa, there's some tribes that migrated to other places, and they don't like this tribe, don't like that tribe. I mean, it happens. And so this person who thought they were trying to school me, like, honey, you don't have to wake up pretty early to try to school me, because I do my research. And I went down the rabbit hole of Russian prejudices and Russian racism. And like I said, it's social and casual racism. There are apparently businesses and places that only like serving Slavic people. They have signs up saying only Slavic people here. Now, maybe not in the bigger cities such as Moscow and stuff like that, but in the smaller suburbs and principalities, there is more low-key racism and less diversity. So you get people who live in outlying areas, smaller cities in Russia, that never seen a black person, never seen an Asian or something like that. And so that's why a lot of people have experienced racism in those areas, going to school, going to university, living there. People have had a hard time getting apartments, getting jobs, and other than just the big cities, like Moscow is more racially diverse. And that, again, that happens here. There's no difference. And for somebody to sit there and try to gaslight me and tell me, well, it's racist for you to point out the racism. Huh? I'm racist for pointing out that what Alina did? Let me tell you something. Any time that somebody points out racism and people get mad about it, people are more mad about you pointing it out than mad at the racism itself. Make that make sense? So people are mad that you're pointing out that somebody said something racist and maybe offend you, but you're the wrong person for pointing it out. Okay, how about we start with the person that did it in the first place? Why this was such an issue is because, first of all, when somebody found these posts and posted online, Alina was trying to lie about it. She was trying to say the photo was Photoshopped. She had a photo of her with a drawn-in beard and a do-rag on, talking about yo. I guess she's supposed to be a black dude or whatever. When people found this out, she tried to say the photos were Photoshopped. She tried to say that the posts were fake, that people were doctoring posts. She tried to say that she tried it. You tried it, girl. I give you that. You tried it. Instead of being honest and being like, oh my God, I didn't realize that was offensive. If you knew what you didn't realize what you posted was offensive, why would you lie about it? There's another post where she spelled the N-word Niqqa. Okay, why would you change the spelling? Because you know that the algorithms are going to find that word and going to delete your post. So again, girl, you tried it. Yeah, nice try. But you had to know what you posting was offensive. You had to. Even your best friend knew what she posted was, her best friend Elijah. Even he knew what she posted was offensive. He's from Russia. He understood real quick, like, okay, this was offensive. And he tried to come out and said, no, he didn't know that she posted that. Okay, I don't know how long they've been friends or whether they was friends, but I'm like, okay, if you best friends with somebody, y'all see each other's social media posts. So I throw a side eye to that. I throw a side eye to Caleb, because again, if he's been knowing her for 9 years, 13 years, or however many years, and y'all friends on social media, you tell me you didn't see none of this, or Alina hasn't made off-color jokes, because you can't tell me that somebody who is posting this stuff about going to N-word parties, which I read her post and peeped what she was saying. So it wasn't like she was really in that post calling people the N-word. She was saying she was going to an N-word party. So if this is how Russian people get down and this is what they do, it's wrong. And the person commenting talking about, well, this is how Russian do, they make fun of other people. Okay, well, here we go. Where is the post of her making fun of gay people? Where's the post of her making fun of Slavic people? Where's the post of her making fun of little people? I'll wait. They might be out there. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'll wait. I love when people like, oh, this person, it was just a joke or it was just funny. Okay, but it's easier for you to joke about people who are not you. But then when you ask them, well, have you made a joke about your own race or your own disability or hey, you have a gay best friend? Where's your post making fun of gay people? Since everything is in joke and it's you all about the jokey joke, then you're gonna dress up like a black person and, oh, this is funny, I'm going to an N-word party, ha ha ha. Oh, I'm gonna put a scarf over my head and say, oh, I got 134 wives, ha ha ha. They didn't even, the person who commented, they didn't even address that. What the part about talking about she got 134 wives with a cloth over her head? Is she supposed to be Muslim or Indian or whatever? Girl, you doing too much. You doing way too much. And then she made a comment, a post about Hugh Grant and having his wife is Southeast Asian and saying, well, the kids are going to be half Asian, and then crying faces. Girl, that's home training. That's some stuff that she didn't learn from her parents. I'm sorry. And people don't say stuff and do stuff like this over and over again. And they don't say it in their day-to-day life. You're not just stunting for the gram. I mean, I know people do stunt for the gram, but you ain't just stunting from the gram if you online casually saying these things. And another thing I'm finna say, the people who read these posts before when they were originally posted, and the people that kikied in the comments or didn't say anything, okay, here's the reason why we in the situation we in this world, and I'm finna go in. It's because people don't do nothing about racism. People let people post things, let family members, friends, relatives, coworkers say things, and they just let it go like, well, that's just Bob. You know how Bob is. Or, oh, that's Susie. You know how she is when she start talking about immigrants and Mexicans and blacks or whatever, Or, oh, they just joking. That's just such and such. That's their sense of humor. They always making fun of Mexicans, Instead of being like checking that person going, yo, that's not cool. Instead of getting on her comments, I don't know if somebody, like I said, I don't know if people did or not. I don't know if somebody was hitting up her DMs trying to snatch her by her hair. I don't know what happened. But if somebody wasn't in her DMs, if somebody wasn't commenting going, yo, man, this is messed up, then no, people just as wrong. If you read that stuff when she posted it and thought it was cool and okay, I don't care whether you're from Russia, Poland, United States, UK. I can't believe that all her friends online were just all Russian, ignorant Russian people, young people who just didn't know anything about black folks. And oh my God, we don't know. I promise you, she had friends from all over the world. She had people posting things from, apparently she belonged to online groups. I'm sure she belonged to online groups and had friends and people that associate with her or subscribe to her that were not just Russian. So the idea that people kiki this and kiki, oh, that's so funny. Oh, Alina, you funny girl. Oh, yeah, you look like one of those hood black dudes. Yeah. If you laughed about that, I don't care what race you is. Even black people will join in and laugh and kiki about stuff like that's funny instead of checking people and going, you know what, that's offensive. That's not right. And maybe if somebody would have checked her a long time ago, then she wouldn't have kept posting stuff and kept posting stuff and kept posting stuff. Or then maybe she would have. So I told the person who commented on my other video, I said either Alina is real dumb, either she's stupid AF, or she's a racist, or both. I don't speak another language. I speak English. I've lived in America. I understand that I'm not gonna post things making fun of Asians. I don't have to know Korean to know that I'm not gonna get online and be like, oh, these Koreans, and let me dress up and let me pretend to be me Chinese. Like, I understand it. Like, okay, that's not cool. And so if the fact that her being Russian is an excuse, that's not an excuse. If this is things that Russians do, that they make fun of other cultures, oh, and they make fun of themselves too. Well, again, I didn't see any evidence where she was making fun of her own culture. But if making fun of people's stereotypes, this is what you do, and then you're saying these things without any context, going, hey, I heard this somewhere, or hey, this is what we do. I mean, if you're doing blackface, basically, that's not cool. And just because a culture does this doesn't make it right. There's cultures that would enslave people. There's cultures that would use little people as pets and toss them around, and they would be in courts and kings and queens all over Europe, and they would treat them like they were animals or some kind of oddity. That was their culture. They did that for hundreds of years. Was it right? No. Somebody was like, yo, they human beings. You can't do that. And people understand, just because people have been doing something a long time does not make it right. There are plenty of cultures and places that are doing things right now that they've always done due to tradition, religion, culture, language, dress, whatever. That's just not right. That's not right. And people have to have the bravery and the balls enough to be like, yo, cut that out. Like, we ain't doing that no more. So if that's what all Russian people think is funny, I'm like, okay, yeah. And then another thing, I'm finna go off on this because this annoys me. This is nothing to do with just the Alina situation. This is just, I'm talking about stuff worldwide. I'm talking about stuff in the United States worldwide. It drives me insane when people try to tell other people not to be offended about something and they're not a part of that group. I hate that. When they had stopped the Asian hate and the Chinese people and Asian people were coming forward because, people in this country don't know the difference between Korean, Japanese, Taiwanese. They don't know any because people were ignorant. The education system is just... Anyway, Anyway, people, do your research. It's different between Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Like, they don't even like each other like that. They've fought wars over centuries since the dawn of time. So, no. Like, people were going there getting at people who were like, I'm Japanese, I'm Chinese, I don't even like Chinese, I don't even fuck with Chinese. Like, oh my God, I don't even eat Chinese food. Like, you over there getting at people who ain't got nothing to do with China just because of the stupid pandemic. So, and then the idea that some people online going, man, those Asians, man, whatever. I'll be like, excuse me, are you don't look Asian to me? You Asian? No. You have an Asian parent? No. Are you married to an Asian? No. Do you have an Asian best friend? No. When's the last time you had a conversation with somebody Asian besides you going to the local Chinese restaurant or the Chinese buffet? I'll wait. Still waiting. Again, if you are not in this community, if you are not married to somebody, your best friend, your spouse, your adopted children are in this community, then I need you to get a tall glass of shut the F up. A big tall glass and just drink it. Just drink it. Just put it in your throat. Just guzzle it down. Put it in your throat. Because again, like somebody that like these white people be trying to tell black people be like, okay, this is racism. I've experienced prejudice. And have white people like, there ain't no racism no more. This don't go. So I'm up here lying. I didn't experience that. Well, I didn't see any racism. How are you going to see racism and you white? How are you going to see black racism? Again, people watch too much movies. There's not a cabal or a smoke-filled room of mustache twirling hooded Klansmen going, ha ha, we're going to get those N-words today. We're going to invite you, Jim Bob, to our racist party, our racist group. Come on. I'm not saying that this stuff didn't happen in the past. I'm not saying it may be happening now. But normally when you're talking about prejudice or racism or biases, it's not like some convention. Like there's not like a racist convention coming to a town near you. They got the sci-fi con and then they got a racist con. Like that doesn't happen. You're not going to have somebody go, hey, let's hate on the black people today. I mean, I'm like, what? Do you really expect there'd be cross burnings in your yard and people spray painting the N-word on people? I'm not saying that none of that, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. It still does. But racism is not that overt. That's the kind of stuff you get you arrested. It's not that insidious. It's not that obvious. Let me tell you when racism rears its head. Okay. A lot of times people think they know people, whether they be relatives, friends, or whoever. They think they know people, right? They're like, oh, I know that person. That person ain't racist. They not prejudiced at all. Racism rears its head when people are at their worst. When people lose a promotion, when people lose a job, when people lose their income. Okay, when people's kids date somebody, when people's kids are going to marry somebody, that's when homophobia, sexism, and racism a lot of times rears their ugly head. When it comes to opportunities, when it comes to education, when it comes to them feeling slighted in some way, whether it's real or imaginary, then people's true colors will come out. Then you will hear people say something that you're like, whoa, wait a minute, or post something on the internet and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. That's a lot of times when people's racist views come out. And people have to understand that these super racist people walking around saying the N-word in all their conversations, yes, there's people out there that still exist like that. But a lot of people know that it's not socially acceptable to use certain terms and certain words about black people, Asian, gays, whites, whoever. But there are certain dog whistles that people use, and people try to other people when they feel like they are slighted or maligned or wrong, or their kids or wife or somebody they love is slighted. Then you will see people's true colors come to the forefront. You know, that's what opportunistic or situational biases or situational prejudice is. And so the idea that as a black person who don't have any Asians in my life, I can tell Asians that, oh, y'all don't experience that. I don't. Black people, we experience it all day, but y'all don't experience that. Have I ever asked an Asian person what they experience? No. Have I ever asked them, did they experience racism? I would like to. I would like to know. I have respect for that. I have respect for people's experience. I'm not gay. If I'm not trans, if somebody with gay and trans are like, look, we got to go through this. We don't want to be called this. We want to be called this. They have a right to set the parameters because that is their life experience, and that's the skin that they have to live in every day. So the idea that some Russian people are online, or some people, or just some white people online going, oh my God, I can't believe they're going to fire her. It's such an outrage. Oh my God, I can't believe people got upset over that. Okay, but you don't get upset because if you're not black, then why would you be offended by it? Why would you be offended by it? That doesn't even make any sense. Well, I'm not offended by it. I said somebody white person say that. I'm not offended by it. Do you have any black kids I ain't seen? Like, is there a black child somewhere that you have? Are you married to someone black? No. Have you even had a conversation with a black person? A real conversation. Not how bye to your neighbor. Not going out to lunch with your coworker. I mean, really sat down and asked a black person, what is your experience in this country? Whether it be America or whatever. And have you experienced prejudice, racism? So the people trying to gaslight people talking about, well, Russia, we not that racist, and we don't do this and do that. Okay, but you're white. You're Slavic. Do you even know any black people? Most of them are like, they don't even respond. So how do you know what prejudice is going on if you're not black? You don't know any black people. You married to a black person? Is there a black person in your family? Is there a black child underneath your bed? Like, if you kidnapped a black kid, like, how would you even know that? Like, again, I think that when people got to understand what they're saying, listen to what they're saying, that it makes no sense. Like, you understand what you're saying sounds ignorant. It sounds biased. It sounds a little elitist. Sounds a little privileged. Like, just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I tell myself that every day. I don't negate anybody's complaint or pain or what they want to represent. If there's some Italians out there who are like, damn it, we don't want Chris Pratt to do the voice of Luigi, then I'm like, I'm not going to be like, what them Italians are mad for? I don't understand. How would I understand I'm not Italian? Why would I understand that? If you watching Encanto and you deflect low and you upset And you like, you know what? I don't like Encanto. They ain't got enough Afro Latinos in there. And I'm not saying people have said this, but I'm just using an example. And I don't like the movie. And there's a whole contingency of Latinos who are like, you know what? We ain't supporting that. And how am I gonna tell the Latin people, who, you know, y'all dumb for that? I don't know. I don't see the problem. Why would I see the problem on a black woman? I'm not Latino. I ain't Latin American. I'm not Afro Latino. Girl, bye. Like, what? Why would I tell them? I'll be like, carry on. Okay, y'all mad at that? All right, well, let me check it. I seek understanding, you know, and be like, okay, well, I made me figure out some things. Another thing I tell people is stay curious. Like, people live in their blindness in their own little bubble, in their own little world, whether it be black, white, Asian, whatever. I tell people I find things that I don't know about every day. When I went down this little trip of Russian racism, I don't know everything. I may not say everything right. I went down the rabbit hole, the whole Chechnyan rabbit hole. It was a big hole. But I'm curious. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Why is this offensive? Why? And then I tell people, get online and join groups. You get online, you ask people about their experiences, and you tell them why you want to know, and this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a YouTuber, content creator. I want to know, this is the story I'm doing about Alina. And then, yes, you will have Afro-Russians speak to you. You will have immigrants come and speak to you and be like, let me tell you what I went through in school. Let me tell you what I went through in college. They called me a monkey. They did this. There's a time when Obama came to Russia and they had a whole calendar with Obama looked as a monkey with a banana. Yeah. 2006. Yeah. There's time. Yeah. They had a whole ice cream called Obamika or Obamtica or something like that. It was this black child wearing some earrings or something, looking like Obama, and they eventually stopped making it. So, yeah. Yeah, like these things have happened recently. They ain't happened during the Cold War. They ain't happened when Stalin was back in the day. This stuff been happening in the 2000s. Like, real talk. Like, this stuff I would have never known unless I researched. So I tell people, stay curious. There's a whole world out there, you know. And then the whole point of my previous Alina video that apparently went over some people's heads is that the culture that we are exporting in America, the hip-hop culture, is just one facet of the black American experiences, and is not helping us out any. We're not getting paid for it. We're being put into stereotypes. People are going to parties dressing like rappers, and you know, people do that in this country and other countries, not just, you know, overseas, but here. People have done that here recently, like in the 2000s. Like this happens. They happen at college campuses, where people are still trying to wear blackface in a Afro wig. Like, really? That's what people went over people's head. It wasn't just about Alina and her 90-day racist self. It wasn't even about that. The whole point of the post was how black people how black people are being really, really low-key exploited, and how hip-hop culture has suddenly become black culture. And then I ask you find people out there, what is black culture? I ask people all the time, what's black culture? Not all of us are rappers. Not all of us listen to rap music or like hip-hop music. Some black people like rap music. Some people like it different. Some people don't even like music. I could care less. You know, there's black people who are in the church. There's black entrepreneurs. There's black professionals. There's black LGBTQA communities. There's black weebos. There's black, there's black nerds like me. I'm a black nerd. You know, I go to conventions and dress up, and I like anime. I like sci-fi and everything. So I would like to see archetypes, not stereotypes. Every culture, every kind of people has certain archetypes that have been put out in movie, films, TV. I would like to see a different archetype of black people besides yo, what's up? And hey girl, that exists in our community. That's there. But I would like to see different voices and different archetypes of black people besides gutter hood rat stereotypes, just because of the fact that hip hop is so expansive and worldwide, and loved and appreciated and worldwide. And I don't want to take that away from nobody. Hip hop culture can be beautiful, can be great. It is part of the black experience in America, but there's so much more to us. And I think my last video, it went over some people's heads. You know, that it went over some people's heads. like that our culture, we are being exploited for other people's gain that aren't black. And then also there's not enough diverse voices. I would love to see a nerdy black chick on a reality show, a TV show, a movie. I would love to see that archetype up there because we exist. We are here. There's a lot of blurs out there. There's whole communities of us. But we don't really see us out in media and TV or what's exported to other countries. The only thing exported to other countries, a lot of it's hip hop because the people who own these companies, they can exploit it and make money on it. They can exploit. They understand that hip hop and music itself is transcends culture, transcends race, no matter whether it's hip hop, no matter whether it's Latin music. I mean, anybody recognize a good drum beat, a good beat, so a good voice. They don't even have to sing in the language of your country, but you can recognize what a good melody sounds like. You can understand that that's a good beat. Music transcends everything: space, time, culture, race, age, sex, gender, all of it. So, and these music industries know that, and I just hate to see that hip hop is so focused on. And yes, it makes millions and millions and millions of dollars, but I would love to see other parts of the Black American. Let me specify the Black American experience, other than just yo yo yo, Pookie Ray Ray and Shaniqua. I yeah, we get it. We get it. Yeah, we get it. Because that stereotype to me is over with, done with, played with. We need to play with other things that are available in our sandbox and show the world that we have different sides. So people won't be going to hood N-word parties dressed up with gold chains and do-rags on. Like, I'd rather have somebody say they have an N party and they're wearing Vans and a skateboard and a Demon Slayer shirt. Like, I would be like, well, I don't like the N word, but okay, I'll allow it. Like, I won't allow the N word, but I'm like, well, they want to dress up like a weebo, okay, and have some extensions. I would be offended, but I wouldn't be that offended. But the hood stereotype, that's a stereotype that, I mean, I'm a hood chick, but that's a stereotype I just get tired of seeing. So I'm not saying it don't exist, but I just get tired of seeing. So yes, this is my rebuttal to the rebuttal and the update about what's going on. Alina's going to get bounced off the show, and just letting people know that, don't let things slide. That yes, there's prejudice in every society. There's institutional racism. There's casual prejudice. There's in every society, every country. I'm not trying to drag Russia or trying to hate on any Russians out there. Don't send me no hate comments. I mean, you can if you want to, but don't, because I have nothing against Russians at all. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Russians. My great grandfather's Russian. Like, so please don't hate on me. So I probably know more about Russia than probably most Americans do. I love Russian history. So don't at me like that. I have nothing but respect for other countries, other cultures. I understand that racism is widespread, so I'm not trying to say that America is better. We're just so much better. Oh my God, like America is worse in some ways. So don't get it twisted. I don't rah for America. I know some people are nationalistic and they want to cover up the things that they do in their country. And I tell people, don't fall into that. Don't do that, because it's very transparent. It's very evident when people write things about our country isn't that bad, because I tell you, somebody going in on America, I'll be like, yeah, American, yep. If I feel like they're accurate, I'm like, yep, Americans do that. I have no delusions of grandeur about America. There's no perfect city. There's no perfect country. There's no place free of biases or racism. There's no utopia out there when you're dealing with human beings. Period. It don't matter what color they are. There's tribalism in Africa. This tribal don't like this tribal. They've been fighting since dawn of time over, who's gonna rule this certain country in Africa. There's no black utopia, white utopia. There's just not, because human beings are imperfect. Human beings are petty. Human beings have a need to fight and argue and separate ourselves. If we all were the same skin color and we all looked the same, I promise you, people would be dividing over, I don't know what kind of clothes they wear. Well, you like this color, we like this color. Like, they'd be set tripping all day. If everybody looked the same, they'd be set tripping over something. Human beings are the most set trippingest things on the planet. That love to divide and conquer. Love to divide. Love to find some reason not to like each other. And that's just human beings, and I understand that. But we need to realize that we are all one race, one people, with just cosmetic differences and cultural differences, that at the end of the day, in the future, I promise you, none of this will matter. When it comes to the way I see the wave of the future is coming, in the future, borders won't matter. We'll be in a virtual space. What you look like won't matter in a virtual space. You can create any avatar you want to create. How much money you have will probably matter more than anything, more than even does now, I predict in the future. And I think gender won't matter. We'll find some way to, people are going to be more gender fluid, and especially when you're dealing with virtual and in a metaverse or a virtual space. Virtual reality and real hardcore virtual societies and communities are going to be a game changer for people, where people can be whatever they want to be and have relationships with people whoever they want to have, and then don't be a person, change genders. It's gonna really change how our society sees each other and relates with people all over the world. And I'm here for it. Like, I'm ready for the day when all these labels can be dropped, all these labels can be challenged, all these boxes that these demographics that people try to put you in will be challenged, all these borders will be challenged. All of this will be a thing of the past, where your cultural norms will be challenged, religious norms will be challenged. All of these things need to be challenged. Just because they've been going on for years and somebody told you that this is how it's supposed to be, and you were raised that this is how it's supposed to be, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it better, and it doesn't make it right. So I tell people, get your mind right, do your research. So anyway, that's your girl Kiki. I'm out. Like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe for sure. Definitely like the video. Thumbs down the video if you don't like it. I don't care. Either way, it helps the algorithm. So y'all have a nice night. Bye.